Here we go. So welcome, everyone. It is Whiskey Friday. This is now episode 10. So we've been doing this for a number of months, and it's been an absolute blast. I just did a presentation yesterday, a big sort of speech, and we were talking. Everybody wanted to know about what's Whiskey Friday because everybody's going, man, you just get to like drink and talk business. I'm like, that's it. So today I am drinking, like I love this sound right here. There it is. So Glenlivet 15. They didn't have the 18. I was upset. So we're drinking 15. We're slumming it today. But that's okay. That's what I'm drinking. Curtis, what do you got going on there?
I grabbed one of your favorites here, the Hepburn's Choice.
Oh yeah. I
was going to save. Look at how much we went through the other day just talking business.
I just had to run to the store because look how much I just went through. Cheers. I was prepping my workshop material and I realized I was like, oh man, I drank all my whiskey. So, anyways, writer's cheers. And Karen, are you having a drink or are you just relaxing?
Not right now. It's 4:00. It's early, and I'm not.
That's it. It's 2:00.
It's 2:00 here. Yeah, I was going to say
whiskey o'clock. Okay. You know, it's funny. We had a guy join on one time, and he goes, "This is actually really fun." He's joined a few times. He's like, "This is an Australian breakfast show." So it's perfect, right? So this is an Australian breakfast. Breakfast of champs. And anybody else that wants to join, we've got an empty seat here. We kind of rotate an extra seat here. But today we are talking about getting customers to chase us, really about how we're adding that value rather than chasing them. I did, like I said, I did a presentation yesterday. We talked a lot about the psychology and the mindset and how people feel like really salesy. And they get into that mindset, that mode of like, I have to go and like manipulate or trick or get real salesy. And the funniest thing happened before I went, I got there and there's a bunch of speakers. We were kind of hanging out and I went and introduced myself to a few of them. One of the guys, his name was Alex. I kind of threw him on the bus when I spoke because I was like, hi, how are you? My name's Joe. And I introduced myself to a few people and they said, oh, hi. And they go, what are you talking about today? And I said, oh, I'll be talking about sales. And he goes, oh, that makes sense. Figures you're the sales guy because you came around and shook everybody's hand. And I was like, that's so weird because like everybody else is like shaking hands, but because I did it, I'm salesy, right? Like it was just so weird. I'm like, I'm just a regular guy, just trying not to be a weirdo. And so that's what we kind of talked about and just like this whole mindset of sales. And so today I really wanted to get into what are the things that we do to sort of strip away the BS of selling and get more into just how to get people really excited about what you're doing and just follow you and chase you and buy your stuff. So let's, I'm gonna kick it to Karen right away. Karen, you're on. Tell us some stuff.
Well, I love this topic because, okay, I'm not drinking because I have a cold, and I probably shouldn't be talking.
This will help.
I'm drinking because I have a cold.
Well,
I'm drinking in case I get a cold.
Yeah. I would actually have to move the sleeping dog from my lap to go into the room to get the whiskey. So.
There you go.
Yeah,
you don't have to talk either. There we go. Let's start with Curtis. Karen, sort your life out. Curtis, talk to us about this topic. Curtis, you go ahead, brother.
Well, I first off, I'd like to give props to Karen that recognizes there is a mute button if you're going to be doing anything loud.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So props. I'm gonna hit some props to Karen.
You did props. Yes.
All the future listeners and people that are on right now learn that function because it's so good.
Remember that guy that was before you go? Remember that guy that was making a drink and he was like walking around and he's like clink clink. And he's like, just a sec, I'm making a drink. We're in the middle of doing stuff. Anyways, Go ahead, Curtis. Yeah. Well,
sales. I love it because you do break it down a little bit more approachable than other people do. The way people think about sales, even me, like I've had an issue with thinking about sales just because I'm more on, I like to solve problems. I like to work with people. I like to connect with people. I'm not necessarily approaching it always that I'm feeling as though I have something that I want for them to buy.
Yeah.
But it is completely different because it doesn't matter if there's even a money exchange. There is quite a bit of value exchange no matter what the currency is. People are always buying. They're always buying is just a vote. Buying is just an investment. You can be buying with your time. You can be buying with currency that happens to be money. You could be buying on trade. There's all different ways. So we're exchanging constantly, and that exchange is happening. So sales is a process. It's a verb. It's not a noun. It's not a okay. Now you've bought, so now it's done. It's really I do like the psychology of the way you put it. In that we're just solving problems. We're just approaching each other from a perspective of a want or need, things to solve some problems. I've got some tools that I can share with people. In exchange for that, I could get multiple things. It can be like you, Joe, helped me with our website for the movement a little while ago too. You had the knowledge, you helped us because we had a need, and we give each other back and forth in that way. And I just kind of phrase that in a way where if people are coming on this call and think, oh, well, I'm not a salesperson. Well, that's not technically true, because if this can be approachable by anybody out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Karen, how you doing? You feel you're back into it?
I'm doing better.
Welcome back. Missed you.
So
thank you for muting, by the way. That was good.
So I love the topic because I'm not the person. I sell homes. I need people to hire me, or I'm not going to pay my own mortgage.
Yeah.
But there is so much taught, especially in the real estate industries. Agents are just taught the whole, the lead generation, the go and make phone calls, make, time block and make so many phone calls, get their email, put them on a list, keep drip mailing to them. And it's so not my style. That feels like chasing them.
Yeah.
And I so much prefer just trying to connect with people, whether it's by getting involved with some in real life kind of groups where you can meet people, whether it's here on Blab, whether it's on social media, but just showing people who you are.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I try to remind people that I sell homes without throwing it in their face all the time. But I show a lot of, as an example, on Facebook, I put up a lot of pictures of kind of really crazy, stupid things people do in their homes that I run across when I'm looking through listings.
Yeah.
So, the bathroom sink that's this wide that you can't, nobody could ever use, or just the crazy stuff people do that I find. And so I share that and people love it. They comment, they joke, what do you think of these, purple kitchen counters? And people go, they just love to comment on that stuff. In the meantime, they remember what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And when they actually need an agent, or they know somebody that needs an agent, I'm top of mind.
Yeah.
So instead of chasing them, I'm just trying to build a relationship, and at the same time, make sure they remember what I do. That's my whole point. You're
bang on. There's that, because I think there's what you're saying is so true. There's two components to it. A lot of people are doing lots of really cool shit and helping people and getting involved. But if people also don't know what you do or how they can help you with your business, you're just doing a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of altruistic people that are helping, and it's but what do you do? Right. And so that was kind of, I think you're right. It's that was a lesson that I learned too, is, people didn't know what I did. I was just they just saw me doing stuff. And so until they go, okay, they can connect you. So those are the two pieces for sure, Karen. Nice point.
I find a lot of people on Blab like that they're here and they're building a following and they have great information. Yeah. And then I'll be like, okay, how do you make money? Tell me what makes you money. What do people hire you for?
Yeah, because I just started this.
I like you and I'd like to support your business, but I don't have a clue what you do for a living, how you make an income.
Yeah, for me, I use Blab as a way to just supplement my whiskey, because I now just write this off to my right. So that's my Blab. I talk sales and all that stuff.
So he doesn't have to drink alone.
Yeah. I was doing it anyways, right? I was here every Friday. Usually start at 11. I was like, all right, I'll just kick it off. So I didn't mean to cut you off. But Mike Buck, your audio is working.
Yeah,
Half in the shadows. I like it.
Yeah, I've got a little lighting issue, but I'm here. So I'm gonna thank you. I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna boost myself up in the high chair, and then I'll be out of that little shadow.
You're looking lean.
Well, you know what? I'm a fitness machine there now. I'm on it. Yeah.
Me too. I'm fitness in my mouth right here.
And I'm drinking. I'm actually drinking a mushroom tea right now.
All right.
This is gonna get interesting then.
Yeah, I'm doing a chaga tea right now, just getting the good flow going through the body. So
I may have to kick you out of this room.
Oh, I thought it was mushroom tea. Then I was gonna psilocybin tea. That would have been a lot.
This is getting out of hand. Okay, Mike, talk to us about sales. How are you getting people to chase you? You've done some good work this year on some of your clients, and you told me a couple stories of bigger clients that you've been working with that the power dynamic has kind of shifted back to you, where they're going, wait a minute, Mike is our resource. Mike knows some stuff. How do we get more of Mike's time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think like with that, it's kind of what you were saying, Karen. It's building relationships and building trust. So for me, what I do is I help people with their websites and help them to get a lot of traffic to their sites and more leads, and really realize what they can really do with their website and where they can actually go with their website. And so for me, what I do is I build these relationships with them, and then they know that I'm very technical, and often it's through word of mouth that people it's actually in the real estate world. It's a good example because I have some clients in the real estate world, and then they go to conventions and all the time, and then they're like, well, who's doing your SEO, or who's doing this, or who's doing your social media, and then they start talking to each other, and that's one big way. So it's not me really pushing myself, but it's me being myself. It's just being who I am and being authentic. And then kind of having calls with them and touching base and educating them on what they can do and how things can be done in 2016. And I think for that it's been very successful just by building those relationships and being myself.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's how about I'm gonna go back to Kevin for a sec. What are some of the things that you're doing?
Hey, Curtis.
Around the you said you did the Facebook posts. What are some other things that you're doing to get people to sort of chase you and go, because you're in a very competitive space in the real estate world. So what are some things that you're doing to say, hey, this is how I'm standing out. This is how I differentiate. This is how people go, don't look over there, look over here.
Yeah.
I do video. Okay. What kind of video?
I've and it's by far, it's in no way holds up when the big real estate gurus that kind of promote and say, oh, look at this video that this agent in Hollywood did, or whatever. I mean, my stuff is not on that caliber, but it doesn't need to be. Nationwide, I just saw some statistics that nationwide 4% of agents are actually creating some kind of content where they can upload to a site like YouTube. But like 48% of people looking for homes think that that's valuable to see those videos.
Yeah.
So almost nobody's doing it. And so you don't have to have something spectacular. So I create short little videos for my listings. That is helpful. I'm doing this live streaming, I think is huge.
Live streaming is awesome, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm doing some video interview series, which I'm not expecting people to come watch on Blab and be engaging and be in the chat. I'm definitely repurposing. It's great if there's people here, but I'm also then saving these, uploading to YouTube, creating them. They look like when you strip all the social stuff out of this, for somebody that's not into these social live streaming sites, it's very cluttered, and it's like they come on, they go, oh my gosh, what is all this stuff?
Yeah.
But when you get that video to download, it strips all of that out, and it looks like a really polished, clean, professional interview with that people are like, how did they do that? And put two people in a square and have an interview.
Yeah.
So I tend to not have too much chatter with the chat while I'm doing the initial portion. And then I turn off the recording, and then we have a big old conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm playing with Facebook Live because I love how easy it is for me just to hit one button and record a quick video. It goes live on Facebook. I'm doing little 2-3 minute tips.
Okay.
And so really short little tips. I did one a couple of days ago while I was waiting for somebody to show up at a house. And so I was like, okay, they're going to be here in 5 minutes. I've got 3 minutes. I can make this video.
Perfect.
So I think that makes me stand out, first of all. And then my marketing, I'm doing all the stuff. I think that doesn't matter what kind of marketing you're doing to try to draw clients to you. You have to be good at what you do when they get to you. So whatever it is that like
right.
you can have the world's best, I use this analogy with my home sellers all the time. A home listing, and in this case, like all of the marketing that we do to try to get people to come to us, right? It's the same as my home listing. That's like a job. That's like a resume. You think about it when you're looking for a job, a resume does not get you the job. The resume gets you the interview. You sitting in the seat across from somebody and actually opening your mouth and speaking intelligently and really showing that you know your stuff is what gets you the job.
Yeah.
And so when I'm selling homes, all the pictures, all the videos, all the floor plans, all the stuff I do, all the social sharing, that does not sell the house. What that does is gets people to go look at the house. And then they're going to walk around the house and decide for themselves if it's like the marketing lived up to the expectations and if it's a good house. Yeah. And I think that all the marketing we do to draw people to us, we have to remember that once they get to us, we better know what we do. We better be good at what we do.
Totally.
Or they're going to see through us if they have any knowledge base. And if they do hire us and we're not good at what we do, they're never going to refer to us. They're going to write bad reviews. So I think that's the most important thing. I think some people get caught up in marketing, but they forget that they need to really have really good skills.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. What are the things on Facebook or any of the other sites where the social media sites where you get other people liking your posts and stuff, and then you get the social proof? This could help you to and then if you do some type of ads with that, then if you see people already liking it and then commenting and all that stuff, then that could help you just to, if you're promoting to people who like your page or their people or their friends or something like that. You can then have that social proof, and then that's just a way that they've already approved of you.
Right.
And so you might already be doing that, but that's something that I know, with the topic of today, that's kind of one way is to bring you in, right? Is to have that social proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys a quick story. One thing that's been sort of a crazy realization for me is, and I think a lot of people that listen to this, that I talk to, it's really easy to get caught in all of the sexy marketing crap and all of the channels. And Nicole's just joined. Welcome, Nicole. It's easy to get caught in the social and the Pinterest and the Facebook and the Snapchat and the Facebook Live and then the video and then the blab. And every week there's something new coming out. And in the next 5 years, everything's going to be different anyways. That's why I study psychology and sales, because like I said yesterday, I don't think people are going away anytime soon. And I don't think money's going away anytime soon. So I'm in a really safe marketplace, right? And so when we look at all this stuff going on, I've caught myself so many times getting caught in that black hole of trying to be everywhere all at once. And thinking let's get really creative about what we're going to create, what we're going to do. And the stuff that I think is badass that I create sucks. It's up to the market to say, hey, I like that, and then click the thing. And the stuff that I was just I'll try that. I did a book report, not a book report, but I did a 5-minute video on spin selling, which was a book from the 80s. And if any of these kids are listening, you do your book reports, kids, because this book, I just did this 5-minute little shitty video, and I probably made almost $200,000 off that one video. Because of corporate clients, they'll just, I get an email probably once every week now, and it just says spin selling. Can you help us? Because what happens, these companies are now in this mode of I need to do some sales training. They Google what's the best sales training or good sales training, and spin selling comes up because it's been around a long time and everybody refers to it. And then they go, well, who does spin selling? And I have just one crappy video on YouTube that's all about spin selling. It's 5 minutes, and it's hey, this is how it works. And they're like, I like that guy. He's read it. So let's talk. So they call me, and then like you said, Karen, is then when we have that call, it's up to me to actually deliver on that phone call. So my whole conversation is around why spin selling is sort of antiquated, and the new models and how it all works with questions and insights and being able to challenge people and all the psychology. So they go, wow, okay, this makes a lot of sense. I want to work with you. So I get a lot of clients through that. But that's the realization I've had, is that you never know what people are looking at. And that was kind of the purpose of Blab as well. Was when we created it, everybody's like, what's the plan? What's the purpose? What's the funnel? I'm like, I don't know. We're just going to drink and talk business on Fridays. And it's kind of created this kind of new, like really relaxed business model that we didn't think of in the beginning. And now I'm actually using this as a really cool tool. When I talk to people, I say, hey, by the way, we do this thing called Whiskey Fridays. And I have even potential clients that are in the sales call. They just log in. They don't say anything. They just want to know, is this guy normal? Are the people he talks to, are they normal? Are they not weird? Is he not like a salesy, like weird douchey weirdo guy? And he's like, oh, he's just normal. He just drinks whiskey. He's like the rest of us. And that's been a big sort of realization for us why we did this. So that was kind of one of the things, is getting people to chase you is just they want to know that you're just normal. They want to know that you're the kind of person that they would like spend time with, and not you don't have an ulterior motive. So that would be my tip number one.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm getting an echo. I wonder why.
Actually, that's something, Joe, that we've spoken about that before. But it's like when you say just to spend time with, it's like a lot of people can do what we do, but it's having that relationship and who you want to spend all your time with and actually implement, and that makes a real big difference. It's like the relationship you have, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of my clients stick with me over the years, is that we have a really good relationship, and they're getting a lot of value, but there's also, they enjoy the process. So that's a big part of, retainment. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. Because now that you've built that relationship, you're adding value every time, right? Yeah. Now let's go back. Let's step back from like the client relationship. Now, what are some things that we are doing to get people to chase us? Because there's the one thing to be able to work on the sales call and all the stuff and going and getting them. But what stuff where people are going, they're starting to pay attention to you. We're disrupting that pattern. They're starting to look at you. What's getting them to chase you and say, hey, can I talk to you? Anybody want to add that?
Well, I'll jump in. I haven't said anything for a while.
I'm just going to say before you do, anybody that, if anybody wants to jump in on one of these seats, just put your hand up.
Yeah, I'm going to jump out, actually.
Karen, I miss you already.
Oh, I'm sorry. I might come back, but I've got a echo, and I need to figure out what's going on in my computer.
Don't go.
Hi, okay, I'll be back.
I'm glad you feel better. Okay, now if anybody wants to join, there's a seat. There you go. So go ahead, Curtis. Curtis, rock it out, brother.
Well, I actually wanted to just reiterate what Karen was saying, is that she's always producing content. I think that's the biggest thing, is if you get in the mindset where you're constantly producing content and you're constantly putting stuff out there, then it's kind of like if you view customers as being on the edge of a stream, or being surfers that they're in the ocean, and they're when you surf, you don't surf in the middle of the ocean. You're surfing at the edge by the beach. But where do waves happen? They don't happen at the beach. The waves happen in the middle of the ocean, where there's movement and other things. Same with a ripple effect on water. If you drop something in the water, even if it's small, it's going to create a ripple effect that goes all the way and just builds momentum until the edge. So the people that are catching that momentum on the edge are noticing, and they're saying, well, where did that come from? And then they look to see where that momentum started. And that momentum started from someone taking the initiative to produce content, to actually say words, to create vibrational energy in the air that other people can pick up on.
Yeah. You know what? You're totally right, man. And like one of the things, we were talking about, I was talking to somebody yesterday about, the whole idea of just giving like 100% of your information for free, giving your best stuff first, just giving everything you've got before people give you any kind of money. Right. And I'm a huge believer in that, simply because content, we've talked about this before, content's not everything, information's not everything. But if you show people, here's how it all works. Here's the seedy underbelly of the thing that we do. And here's all the tips that we have. Here's everything we know. They're going to go, wow. And it's going to help them solve problems. And they're going to come to you and say, hey, can you help me do that? Can you help me make sense of this? Because they're not going to know how to put it all together. The beauty of anything is really in the implementation and in the service. And so, set a reminder, purchase with you next week. Cool. Herbie, join us, man. Anybody wants to join? We got a seat. But yeah, that's what I realized is that, it used to be like I had one of my clients. I said, we got to get some content. We got to do some videos. And he said, well, what if I put everything I know online? Aren't people just going to take it? And I was like, no, it's like two things are happening. One, don't be so egotistical that people are going to sit and read and listen to all of your content. And two, even if they really like what you're doing, they're going to probably look at 3, 4, maybe 5 things you've done and then say, hey, can you help me? I like what you're saying. I like what you're doing. I want to be a part of this, because people aren't just buying and selling in isolation. They're buying to become a part of something. And Curtis, in your business as a salon, you guys are building a tribe, right? You can give all the advice on the products, but people, even if I could buy the same product cheaper somewhere else, the fact that I would come into your salon and get this wonderful coif, right, and come in and do that, and then have the ability to buy the product there, that means that I'm part of something, right? And even if I spend more money, do whatever it is, it's like now we're part of something. And that's what a lot of people are missing, is that money and selling is not just a price. Everybody says, oh, if we have the best price. No, price is bullshit. It's value, and value is subjective as the whole picture. And so when you have a lot of value, when you are who you are and you represent something, people will chase you because of who you are. Not just because of the thing that you sell. And you could sell anything, and you could change your business tomorrow, Curtis and Mike, and people would still chase you, be like, how can I buy the new thing you're selling? Right?
Products are literally just a leverage.
Yeah.
They just create extra leverage.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of feedback on here.
That's it. Like often, Joe, like when I first moved to Montreal, I was trying to find places to go, like to buy my groceries and buy a bunch of stuff, right? Yeah. And in the end, like the places that I go to right now, like 6 years later, it's all the places that have the best energy, the best people, the best vibe. Yeah. Like, and it's like in some places I'll go and I'll spend more money, because I want to support those people because of, their energy, and then going back to you, Curtis, it's like, with your type of business, like with the salon business, I know for me, like I was just thinking like recently, like that I wanted to get a new hairdresser because mine was not working in the hours that I could go to him. And my first initial reaction was, okay, if I want to see a new hair stylist, I want to see their Instagram profile first, because I want to see the cuts that they've done. And that's a different way for me now to look for a hair stylist than before. Before I would just go, I hope it's going to be okay. Hope for the best. And then now you can actually see what they've done in advance. So like, I'm not sure, I haven't seen your stuff, but I'm sure that you guys have Instagram accounts that you're showing your cuts. And that's a big thing of just different ways. And then of course, if you get social proof on there as well. So that's kind of the way I'm just kind of blabbing about that. So
yeah, I like what Herbie's saying. He likes the thing you said about the social media resume, and I think I forget this often. Is people do check you out. They do look at your stuff. They the social, the blog. When I research companies, it's the same thing, man. Yeah. We look at companies like, what are you guys doing? Not what do you want to say, but what are you really saying? Right? Like not what your branding is and what the guy told you that your values are, but like when push comes to shove, what are you actually doing in the world, in the village? How are you interacting? That kind of stuff. So the social media resume, nice work. Yeah. Bang, go, buddy. Here, hey, I'll tell you guys a cool story. So this book, can you guys see that? Viralnomics.
I saw that on your Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. My Facebook, with a foreword by Jonah Berger. This is a buddy of mine, out of Toronto. And he just launched this, and I'll tell you a really cool story about being chased. We're part of like a network. We have a network of guys all over the world that we chat. And so he put it out there saying, I'm just about to launch my book. He said, how many of you guys would like a free copy? We said, yeah. So we put our address in there, and he sent it, and he mailed it to like a bunch of us. We got like a couple different letters. There was a really cool package with different personalized notes. And he said, this is a specific section that you should read, and all sorts of like really badass stuff, man. And so it was super personalized. And then we all we were super supportive of him. Viralnomics. So wonderful book. And John just rocked it out, man. He's done a couple like big launches, and he's like I think the number one like personal trainer membership site right now, I think in Canada, or I don't know, in North America, but he's killing it. And just to be able to send that out, and all these people are taking pictures with his book, and he's getting mentioned, and he's like up in number 1 on Amazon right now. I think number 18 in the health space. Like, yeah, really, really cool. But that was something where it's like, you do cool shit for people, and they can't help but want to help you out. It's that power of reciprocity. And it's not, partly, he's living the truth of the social proof and the marketing and all that stuff. But it's not because he's doing it to manipulate people. He just truly wants to be a nice guy and give you stuff because he knows the power of people want to do nice stuff for each other. And so that's kind of what we look at, is that people think, well, if I do this, like if I scratch your back, you'll scratch my back. I think what we need to just say is let's scratch everybody's backs and see what happens, right? And build a solid brand, build that, but make part of your business about helping other people, giving good value, doing cool shit. And people go, you know what? I like what you've been doing. You've been consistent. And the key to that is when you don't get shit in return, don't be a little bitch about it. Right? Like, don't complain because you're not getting the rest, because it takes time and it takes consistency, and people watch you. I have some of my bigger customers that have been subscribers to my blog for like over a year and have never interacted. And then they just call and say, hey, I like that you've been consistent. Let's talk. And that blows my mind to know that it's like everybody's watching all the time, not that closely, but close enough that you got to be consistent. So that's what I'm saying. And Davon, what's going on? I got a new guy, Davon, original one to do the 24-hour blab. Nice. Cool. So if anybody wants to join, we got an extra seat. Curtis, you guys are doing some really cool stuff at your salon, out in the community, just engaging with people. I mean, you're on different boards and you're super involved. That takes up a lot of work, a lot of mental effort. You've got a business to run. Why are you doing all this stuff? How is it working for you, and how can people make the most of their like doing cool stuff in the community? Those are my 3 questions.
Wow,
while I drink and listen.
Okay, well, I'll talk about this for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, if I can just be really quick about it. I'm on. I do a lot of for the environment, I guess is probably the best way to say it. That's how I view it. We have an environmental stance with our salon, and we are leaders in that industry and the movement of that. But we're really, when I really think through like why I'm involved in environmental initiatives and everything else, it really kind of goes way beyond just protecting the earth and stuff like that, because the earth doesn't need protection. It's the earth is very strong and it'll outlive us for sure. The reality is that our investment on the social organism, everything that we do and are able to invest in everything else, so I'm getting some really weird feedback here.
That's not me.
I was like, that wasn't me either.
It sounds like a truck just drove by through my well, anyways, maybe somebody's tuning in that we don't know. So welcome to the show. We're talking about the social enterprise. But I really do look at it as being like a marriage. We're only going to get out of it what we put in it. And I look at our position as a business owner as an amazing opportunity to make changes, social changes, to enrich our other people's lives. And so when I think through our steps of how we're doing things, then it's just kind of natural. It just happens authentically. Opportunities come up and then you just kind of slip into them. Like we're part of a spa and salon working group to bring green certification to the industry in Vancouver Island, which we hope will spread to the rest of the world. We're James, I'm not sure if he's on the call. I don't see his.
No, he's not here. He's a sellout. Keep going.
He out of New Jersey. We were just out in LA for the Worldwide Hair Show, and we talked to about 250 distributors and sales reps on a project that we're working on called The Movement. I'll embed the video in the code here in the message, and then to 3,000 stylists and salon owners at the show itself. The idea of the movement is that really from a grassroots level of a salon owner and stylists talking to one another and just supporting each other in a forward direction of just sustainability in general. But we define sustainability as keeping clients in your chair, which probably for most organizations, sustainability is keeping the doors open or clients, purchasing your products. You have to do that, otherwise you're out of business. So since that's the core, all the other aspects kind of build into that, and things like your social proof and things that you're giving back to the community, all those things are fantastic, and you need to do that, but you also need to use those as a leverage in order to market them properly so that you are bringing clients in to support your business and to be able to make sure that you still, your employees can stay employed and the world turn, right? So it's I guess it's a real shift of thinking. One other thing I'll mention too is the B Corp idea, the kind of the business or social enterprise aspect of almost running a nonprofit, but for profit gain in some ways. So it's an interesting thing. I've been doing a lot of research about it. There was a guy that came to the Worldwide Hair Tour that presented. His name was Bart from B Corp. So we're gonna work on potentially working the salon into a B Corp, and then we're gonna start doing a little bit of education about the process and really try to wrap my head around this, because I think it really just condenses everything that we're doing and puts it into words, I guess, is the best way to say it.
Cool. Now, and one of the questions I have for you is, for anybody that's watching, what are some, and I'll feed you a couple of these ones, but what are some of the things that you guys are doing because you have a salon, you're out in the community, but you participate on a number of different boards. You volunteer. You guys have done a lot of volunteer work. You've been able to offer your services. You're just like, every time we do events, you guys are always there and you're giving back and you're donating services and time and people. And you've also, not just that, but you've created that culture within your organization of people saying, okay, we're doing something more than just cutting hair. And it's really cool to see that your team is involved and they get excited about that. So what are some of the things that you guys did when you're making those decisions? Because now customers are going, hey, we want to be a part of this Design House salon. We want to, what do we have to do to become a part of what you guys are doing? And people just naturally are gravitated towards you and want to promote you. So give us a couple of those decisions to say, here's what we're doing as a business consistently.
Well, consistently, I think that first off, I'll have to say that it is a little bit easier for us because Chantel's behind the chair cutting hair and in the business running a lot of the operational side of what's going on inside the business.
Sure, yeah.
And then I'm kind of behind the chair position where I'm supporting her. And then from a community perspective, I'm out in the community doing that work. So I also try to feel as though that my position in society is that way. I try to get behind people's businesses and try to fulfill that role in some cases. And that's one reason that I'm on the Young Entrepreneur Society as basically the liaison from a community perspective to the organization, because I really do like getting behind people that are really passionate about their business and telling other people about them and doing some networking and organic networking. And I think this is a lot of what we all do. I think, everybody's kind of going this direction anyways, but I'm just kind of speaking from my own perspective. Then just like marketing to your clients, what you're doing in the community, you also have to market it to your employees. So it's really important that, we're going on doing all this stuff. And, sometimes the employees are doing, free cuts for, women in need, and they're doing all kinds of stuff for us. And we really have to celebrate that with them and say, you're part of this, just so this is what's happening and you're part of this. So that way it builds the momentum from within the organization. So it's turning. And then also from outside of the organization, it's turning around us. So we're constantly having that fluid momentum moving forward. And then the clients, once they get in on that, then they start feeling that energy. Then they kind of start seeing what's going on. And then they just really love being part of this. So if that kind of paints the picture, I suppose, in a way that you were asking.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. I mean, the piece, I summarized it here and give it easy for you. It's just get behind everyone else's businesses. Now, I put number one, the thing that I said is give 100% of your info for free. We talked a bit about, get a lot of content out there. I guess number three, we talked about be consistent, right? People are taking notes. I'm just typing be consistent. And when you're talking about get behind everyone else's business, one of the things that people can do, I'm a big fan of the three-way introductions, right? Three-way introductions is to be able to, Nicole's like, yeah, I love it. Nicole, get out of here. The three-way introduction where it's like, you're talking, when we switch that mindset of what can I get from this person? What do I want from you? Like if I talk to Curtis and I go, I want you to buy from me, but I start to listen to him. And one of the biggest challenges I see is people don't listen. ever is they're just so wrapped up and I have so much to say, blah, 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 and they just like rock it out. But listening is like the best gift you can give people. When you start really listening and just giving a shit and showing that you care and taking in what they're saying and thinking about not what can I get from them, but how can I help them, all of a sudden it changes your mindset to go, hey, I have somebody that you need to meet. And I know, Curtis, you're awesome at that. Mike and you and I have done that a few times. I know Nicole and I've done that. And it's so funny. Like I went to this, we did this big seminar yesterday. And there was like 300 people or so at this thing. I was one of the speakers. And I had all these people come up to me saying, I heard that I'm supposed to meet you because this person, that have all said, you got to meet this guy. So I didn't have to actually do anything. The topic of today is having customers chase you. When you have other people telling them they have to, you're the guy for this. Everybody needs to know a guy. But the three-way introduction, we do this all the time. We actually have a breakfast group every 2 weeks where we sit around and we just share info. And I say, hey, I want to build something in this area. Here's a project I'm working on. Here's the thing I'm doing here. Here's the new client I'm looking at, or here's some people that I'd like to talk to. And we just go, okay, here's who I know. Here's who I know. We just start to share our network and say, let's make an introduction. So the email is really simple. It just says introductions. And we say, hey, Curtis, I'm really excited to introduce you to Mike because Mike is an awesome guy in the SEO space. He's really cool. He's doing this and this and this. And he's just super cool. He's super jacked right now. He's been doing this fitness program, just a super nice guy. And you got to meet Curtis. He's got one of the best salons in town. And this is what he's doing. And he's super like, he's just balanced and he's connected. He's so well. And I'm going to leave it up to you guys to connect. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think you guys should chat because what we want to do then is take the pressure off of us of saying, well, if you guys don't do business, I feel bad. I don't give a shit if you guys do business. Yeah, exactly. My job is to make the connection. It's not about referrals. So if you guys are thinking in terms of referrals, don't think about referrals. Think about introductions. If you start making introductions consistently and you do it like 10 times a week, things will skyrocket. So people will start to not know you for what your business is, but just as you are somebody of influence and connecting. And that's crazy that, you know, when we start doing that, how valuable the connection piece is. So don't be a salesperson, be a connector, and things will just start happening. So that's my big rant.
Actually, I've been really good at that in the dating world. I hook people up all the time, and people have actually got married. So it's like
my dude.
I've got to actually I got to do that more of the three-way connections. Yeah,
the businessman, go for the three-way, baby.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of this is like dating, you know. It's not much difference, really. I mean, when you go in and you're experiencing somebody else's services, you kind of see how they would.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, here's a good one. I went for a massage yesterday, and
now we're getting into it.
And then
take a drink.
Dewan has just joined us as well. Dewan, what's going on, homeboy? Good. I hope you join us, man. Miss you.
Sorry.
So while I was in her environment, wait, is this am I not like? Am I talking like a? Should I use another example so I can get out of the? Okay.
Hit us, Curtis. Hit us, baby.
While I was in her salon, while I was in her environment of being an RMT, and it has a certain. I was thinking of all the other people that would enjoy that service, you know. So and the person that would connect with that. So you know, as a massage therapist, she is more into relaxation rather than musculoskeletal kind of injury stuff. Yeah. But if I went to a massage therapist that was more of an clinical side that really knew her shit about musculoskeletal, I could think of all the guys that have been working out lately and have some issues with regards to pain and joint issues and that kind of thing. But for relaxation, I can think of a ton of guys that in the business world that just need an opportunity to sit back, relax, and just kind of breathe, right? But it's just like a restaurant too. You go to a restaurant. If you go to a restaurant, you think, yeah, I really enjoy this. But if you're always thinking too of like who else would really, really love this too, then just ask for a few cards and then make an effort to be able to pass those on.
Yeah, I'm making a note. Keep talking because that's a big one. Always be thinking.
Well, all you have to do is just make a commitment to grab 3 cards. 3 cards from every person that you meet that you really enjoy, that are passionate and know their shit, and make a note or whatever. Keep them with you until they're gone. And then when they start piling up, you're gonna be like, okay, I need to get back to connecting because I'm not connecting enough.
Yeah, I like that.
And the email introductions are really good too. I've been noticing that. Because a card is good, but if you get the email intro, it's really important. So whenever I've talked to somebody about it, I always say, can you please email intro me to that person, because just mentioning them and stuff like that is fine. But when you've had that now a connection that you've made, we did that as well. So there's going to be a charity event. It's a 007 themed Casino Royale at the Fairmount in Victoria. She was saying that her friend who is the owner of a mortgage broker here in town is running this event, and she thinks that we would be able to get involved and we could do a donation. I said, fabulous, that's what we want to do. Connect me with her by email. And so we did, and she happens to be like right next door to our salon. Yeah. She says, I checked out your website before I talked to you. I noticed that you do spa services and hair. I'm definitely going to come in and check you guys out. Here's the information on the event. So now what happened there? Now, potentially, 3-4 businesses may potentially have an opportunity to share their business with that other person. And it's been with a personal referral.
Yeah.
And connection. And everybody's just like, this is a great person. You should know this person.
Yeah. What's funny is I know I'm getting an echo from somebody here, but Dewan, who's on this call, I met him at, who's got me on? I'm on an echo somewhere here.
I'm not echoing.
I don't know.
I'm echoing when I talk with you, Joe. I don't know. So
how about now?
I think it's you.
Maybe me? How about if I do this?
It's that big microphone on your head.
Yeah, no, it's not that. I had the headset plugged in. But anyways, Dewan's on here, and I met Dewan, actually. I met Dewan at a nightclub here in Victoria before he moved away. And my next tip is based on that is, give your best stuff away for free. That one, and just be awesome instantly. So that was that's how we connected, was we just started talking about business, and he was like, what do I think about this? And we just had these, it was instant connection. We were just being super fun. And I know when I first meet people, the thing for me is I just get excited about what people are doing. Right. And I just they tell me about their business. And when you make that mental shift to just be super pumped about whatever the hell they're doing, it becomes so much more fun, because you're like, what about this? Have you thought about this? Can I introduce you? Oh, can I share an idea with you? And then we're like, let's go for coffee. And for some reason, I never think about how do I get them to pay me for things. I just know that we go and talk about stuff, and I get excited. If I see that what they're doing is cool and exciting, I want to get pumped about their business and help them with their business and see let's do this. And have you thought about this and build this? And here's some ideas. Here's some resources. Let me send you some links. And here's a free template. Here's a tool that I use that I sell. And I just give people stuff, and they just go, wow. And they feel like, man, that's you get all the best stuff right away for free. And you're super excited. You're genuine and authentic. They can't help but, one, feel a little bit guilty. But two, they're going to be like, wow, I got all this stuff for free. And from a jet engine in the first 30 seconds we met, to be like, now what happens if we actually do work together? That's kind of how it ends up going. I know a lot for me and other people that I meet that are just super pumped up about what you're doing. And so people that, when I talk to them and they start telling me about cool stuff about my business, we can't help but say, how do we collaborate? Somebody used the word yesterday, collaborate, for this platform. Yeah. There you go. So we're collaborating. But, and I don't know how to say the name, Taibbi, Five Taibbi. We are drinking, just so you know, I've got some Glenlivet 15. Sounds delicious. And if anybody wants to join us. But we're just talking about connecting and just being awesome, man. Getting people to chase you, because if you give a lot of really cool stuff for free, you share good content. A lot of people say, the content's too much, but if you give good content, people are reading it. There's a lot of people that passively read your stuff or enjoy your content. Karen was talking about videos and all this. You could be everywhere, but the key is just be consistent, be authentic. And people go, you know what? They feel like they've got a relationship with you. I get people that find me after they've watched some of my videos or my podcast, and they're like, I feel like I've known you. And as long as the person that you are face to face is the same that you are online, then that's cool. But if you're split personality and two different weird people, they're like, I don't get it. And they feel weird and you feel weird. It just feels shitty, right? So be the same person all the time. You never have to worry about who you're trying to be. Give away good stuff, be consistent, make introductions. And then the rest of it is people are like, okay. And then like Karen said, is make sure that they know what the hell it is that you do. Because if they don't know what you do, they're going to say, oh, good for you. And they're going to leave. But if everybody thinks you're awesome and knows what you do, they're very quickly going to start to go, how do I connect you with people that can buy the thing that you have? Right?
Yeah. And some things are very easy to know what you do. For example, with you, with Curtis, if you're in the hair business or salon business, it's very easy for them to understand what you do. But someone like me or even Joe, it's if I'm doing digital marketing or search engine optimization, it's like for a lot of people, that's just a big mystery world, a mystery box. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm saying is that some things are really easy for people to understand, and some things are not because they're just it's not tangible, or like with a haircut, I know I'm getting my haircut. I know the result. And that's an education thing, right?
But here's like the thing is that there's it's a double-edged sword in every world, is because you are Mike and me, we're in a world where it's like it's kind of a mystery, right? That gives us a lot of room to educate. When Curtis is in a salon world, he's hyper commoditized often. Oh, you're just a salon. It's like no, and you have to constantly explain why we're not just a salon, right? Curtis, you say that's true?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people, you're having different perspectives on what is quality work. So, it is a lot about how we have our staff, how they really believe in themselves, and how they're constantly training and educating themselves to get into a position where they are viewed as a professional in their industry. And that's massive. It doesn't just come with being behind the chair for 30 years, because a person behind the chair for 30 years can do some really shitty work. Because they haven't really updated their skills. They haven't really been able to connect with you. So it's not just about experience. It is a lot about how you've built your value proposition, and also how you communicate that, because that's where the magic actually happens, and where retention and really assessing value with regards to your product happens, and how they portray that to others. And so we're all in the same industry that way. It's just wrapped in a different package.
Yeah. And that's the thing on, man. Like, it's funny, like when the biggest thing I think that we can talk about when we're saying getting customers to chase us, the best lesson I've ever learned is that it's not about, we talked about, it doesn't matter what industry you guys are in, product, service, price, none of that stuff matters. It matters about where somebody's at right now and where they want to be. And if you can tap into that change and that mode of what they're trying to accomplish and what they're really feeling. And so when we talk about, like, we all offer, life-changing services in different ways. And you have to connect to that mentality that they have. And so I talk a lot about the neuroscience and the psychology. And what we're always trying to do is disrupt that pattern, disrupt whatever's going on. People are so friggin' busy all the time with, like, I've got 2 screens open. I'm trying to juggle. I just want to drink whiskey and talk to you guys, but there's so many things that want our attention all the time. And so if we're going to talk to people, we need to disrupt that pattern. We need to tap into that subconscious where they all of a sudden stop looking over here. They go, okay, this is interesting. And then that is the ultimate way of creating value. I'm going to answer Dewan's question in a minute, but that's the ultimate way of creating value, which is now you've caught their attention and you're trying to tap into something that's going on in their mind. And so for me, I know when I do like sales training and coaching, I've been trying to figure out how to say it in a way that doesn't sound like a salesy douchebag. And it's really just, I tell people, I help people just simplify, have more fun, make money. That's all I do. Right. It's just like getting out of your own head and making selling just so much easier, so that, that you want to make more money. You come talk to me. We'll create some really good problems and you'll figure out how to spend it afterwards. And that's just kind of what I do. And for Mike, same thing is you're creating, opportunity for people through the internet by understanding how to make sure that more of the right people find you. And Curtis, you guys are creating, excitement in people's lives because they get to feel better and look better and just be happier about themselves through design and fashion and something that's in the beauty industry. And that you become also not just about beauty, but also about the spiritual side, about all this stuff. And when I start working with my clients, I have a life coach that I work with, and we start talking about things that are really important in sales, but we get into all of these issues about guilt and blame and shame and vulnerability. And she's like, this is all the stuff I talk to people about. I'm like, this is all the stuff I talk to people about, because that's what everybody struggles with. And so when you're going to get people to chase you, they just got to feel like this is different. This is interesting. And no matter what I'm doing, I want to go where that person's going and figure out how to work with them more consistently. So that's kind of what I want to throw at you guys there. And Dewan's got a question. As someone who ultimately sells shit online, how do you introduce your value prop to people? It's always a brutal question for me to answer. Okay, cool. In terms of, I'm going to try and qualify that question. You mean like when you're talking to somebody face to face or on a landing page, or is it like in just general, if somebody emails you and you have to like give them an answer, what's the, give me a little bit more detail on that. In a network. Oh, okay. In a networking, it's easy. Well, once you got them qualified. So if you're selling stuff online, I mean, basically it's the same thing. Is I always talk, there's the 5 buying decisions, and everybody gets this backwards. The first one is they buy you, then they buy your company, your product, price, and time. But they always talk about product and price way too soon. So what you're selling online, first of all, they're going to buy you. So they got to feel like, you're a good guy to talk to, that you're asking questions saying, and you want to be able to say, if somebody says what it is that you do, because everybody goes, what do you do? You're basically saying, I help people, and don't talk about what you do, talk about the change you help create and change your language around that. Mm-hmm. Right. So Drinks at Browns, what do you do for a living? I couldn't. So what do you do for a living is I work online and I help, people, whether it's make money or make this change or have these like you're helping people do something. That's what you want to talk about, not what it is you do. So you say, I'm an internet marketer, or I'm a marketing person, or I do SEO, or I do, because it's what happens is we say, I go to Curtis, what do you do? And he says, I run a salon. And he goes, what do you do? And I go, I do sales consulting. We just like vomit all of our business shit on each other. We're just covered in like useless vomit. And then we go and we leave this networking event. We got this stack of business cards. We say, oh, look at me. I networked, right? And I don't wear pants. Right? I actually wearing shorts today. It's like plus 12 here in Victoria. But yeah, so good. Suckers anywhere else. But yeah, you go and you do this networking and you got the stack of cards and you say network. That's not networking, man. You need to make like one connection and people go, oh, I get it. So when you're talking about what you do is you just say, I get to help people do this. And they say, how do you do it? You say, well, I have this online business that goes like this, and this is what happens. You go, oh, what is it? And you get to explain it. But unless you can nail that, what do you do and like why you believe in it, people are just going to go, oh, that's nice. And if you say I'm in internet marketing, man, that's like saying I stab people for a living. Like, because people are like, I don't get it. I don't know what it is. It feels weird, right?
Yeah.
Does that help you, Dewan? Because I wish I could see your face, but I hope that helps.
Well, I think just being authentic about what you really do, that's the whole point. If you're not comfortable with explaining what you do, it's going to come across to people and they're going to be like, that's weird. But if you're really confident that you're like, this is what I do, this is what I love to do, this is what I'm passionate about, people are like, oh, I want to listen. I want to hear. I don't care if it's about that you fix toilets and nightclubs. If you really are passionate about it, it's like, well, I don't know. There's probably a really good reason why I should listen to you for this story, even if some of it's gross. But, so I think really being comfortable with who you are and what it is, that's the trick to authentic sales. And I really want to give you a compliment, Joe. It's that and as a lesson for everybody else is to be truly passionate about other people's industries. When you are truly passionate about other people's industries, that comes across. And there's one thing I learned, because I'm not a hairstylist, but I work with a lot of stylists and salon owners, and I might not know how to cut a person's hair the way they do, but I definitely have a genuine appreciation and passion for the industry. And when you do that, that's enough. They just say, you know what, I want to work with you because you get me, and in fact, I want to work with you because you don't know how to cut that head of hair, and it's probably, you're going to give me a really unique perspective that I would have never experienced before talking to somebody else that does the same thing day in and day out. Yeah. And you know what, Joe came and did some training at the salon, and he's going to be doing some work with us in the future with some other salons in the future. And I'll tell you what, right now, there's very few other people in this world that can just show up to a conversation and say, you know what, I identified that you're passionate about your industry. I will share in that passion. Let's do some cool shit.
Yeah, that's it.
And I get it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, then it's authentic. Right off the bat, everybody is just like, I want to work with them.
Yeah.
I'll find the money. Let's figure it out because I know that I'm going to get a return out of it. I just know.
What's number 8 is let's do cool shit. That's 100% what it is, man. Like, recently, I mean, like I've been working with all sorts of industries. One of them is this huge like thermoelectric. They sell like remote power and thermoelectric generators. And they were like, do you even know anything about our business? I'm like, no, I know nothing about it. But my business is not to know your business. My business is to know how people interact, this interplay between buyers and sellers, and the psychology of why you're acting like an idiot on the phone when you shouldn't be acting like an idiot. That's what I know. And then another company, they do like document process. I thought you were smoking a pipe for a second, Mike. They're doing like document processing, and they're doing like these crazy, like these worldwide, like global, weird, like just cool stuff. But every time I get on the phone or I do research research on companies, it's like, man, what a cool thing to be able to learn about what other people are doing and get passionate and, you know, let's do cool shit. And one of the biggest things that we do when I'm doing training is that, you know, I talk about like, just close your eyes and imagine what they're going through. And all you have to do is nail that first 30 seconds. You got to nail that. What is it you do when you get on the phone, and just not be weird. So for me, anybody's listening, is the easy test that I always give. And I have a lot of my clients do this test, especially if you're networking. It's really easy. You guys want to write it down. Is if you say something and they like nod and smile and they're like, yeah, that's cool, that's good, say more of that. But if you say something and they just stare blankly at you, it's stupid, stop saying it. That's it. That's the test, right? Too many people like they rehearse this, like this pitch and this thing they're going to say. And they're like, and I listen to it on the phone, and somebody's like, oh, tell me about this. And they go, blah, 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 blah. And they just like, just dump it. And it's like, as soon as they take that little breath, I know there's a pitch. I was like, stop. That's a sales pitch. Stop selling. Be normal, be natural, and be just be like excited about what you're doing. People are going to connect with that, right? Get shit done. Yeah. GSD. So you know what? Let's.
That's a T-shirt you should get.
Man, get shit done.
Yeah, just the GSD. Put it right up, right, big letters on the front.
That's it, man. Yeah. Well, we talk about this all the time. It's like that's what it is. Like get shit done. So we're coming up on the hour here to stop the recording, and we're just going to keep drinking and talking. But I'm going to start with Mike, then Curtis, and I've talked enough. So I'll let you guys close up and just say, you know, what's one. Give us one thing that you're doing that everybody's chasing you for.
Being authentic. You're just doing really cool stuff, and people want to join in on that.
Yeah.
They see you as a connector, like you said. They see you involved in the community. They see that you're doing really good work, and people respond to that. It is really all about that. I mean, you have to work on your value proposition. You have to market. But really, what it comes down to is, you know, those aspects of your authentic value proposition. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, you know, dating, or it's just like, you know, getting friends. It's just like anything else. It's like, if you're really a real person and people can see that and you're passionate about it, I mean, unless you don't like people, you're going to get connected. So really, I don't know, let's just I love what you say, Joe, is like, take the weirdness out of it. Let's just be real people that have real jobs or real careers or real passions or whatever it is, that we are solving problems for people, and, you know, all the rest will follow, you know, I think that's about it, you know, and if they could put it in a nutshell, although it's hard work. And I constantly have to like go back to this point of like not chasing customers and not thinking that you have to go after them that way, especially within the online space, because you want to market away and you want to think this way. But I think if you can position yourself in the way that you're marketing yourself, in a way that is highlighting your authenticity about your value proposition in an online space, that is the point where you're not chasing them. Mm-hmm. You're just inviting them to participate in cool shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
Mike, what about you? Give us.
A lot of what you said, Curtis, was kind of, you know what, I agree with that. And I think for me, it's in my world, it's just me being me and being technical, but being able to talk to people that in a way that they can understand it. And I build their trust. And then when I build their trust, then they will sell me to other people. And that's one big thing that I've always had my entire life is just being who I am. And then they like that, and they like the confidence of that. And they just want to share me with other people. Going back to the threesome thing.
I want to share you with other people.
You know what? Well, also what's embedded in that, I'm giving you guys some notes here, is being valuable.
Yeah, being valuable.
Yeah, we've talked about. I love Mike Bunk. Everybody loves Mike Bunk. Everybody loves the Bunk.
The Bunkster.
Yeah, bunk beds.
Bunk boy.
three-way bunk beds.
Yeah.
No,
So
but
much
like
more room for activities.
Also being valuable. We've talked about pitch anything and Oren Klaff and some of that stuff, and all about like control and creating these different frames and being a prize and being somebody to chase. Ultimately, people want to. If you're going to be chased, they got to say, hey, if I don't chase this person, I lose access to energy. I lose access to this authenticity. I lose access to these resources, this access to these connections. And if I don't buy from them, they're just fine, right? That's where the dynamic, that's where the power dynamic shifts. Is that if you don't buy from me, I don't give a shit because I'm going to be okay. But if I can help you do things, then I'm really excited, right? So there's no attachment to the results, but attachment to being present and being energized. And I think my tip, my last thing before I ramble on, we'll just turn this off in a second, is this one right here. Be fucking fun.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, I had somebody yesterday. It's a lady who we're going to start doing some more work with. We're in a couple different groups together, and she just said, she's like, I'm watching you doing all this stuff, like high stress things, and you're speaking and you're engaging, and everybody's asking your opinion, and she's like, and everything you're doing is just fun. You don't care. She's like, our business needs more of that, where it's just like we need more fun. We're so stressed out all the time, and everybody's all worked up. I'm like, what do you need to be worked up about? I came from a corporate world where we got beat down a lot. And it was just like you're in Stockholm syndrome. You're identifying with your captors. And now I'm like, I didn't start my business to not have fun. This is exactly why I have a business. So I can just drink and write it off. That's it. And just do cool shit, and just have some fun. And that's really why we're doing what we're doing. And I remember years ago, like probably 7-8 years ago, I wrote in a business plan. I'm like, when it stops being fun, do something else. So that's kind of my business plan.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. That makes sense. Yeah.
That's kind of where it's at. So that anything, when a client's coming at you, when somebody's asking you questions and it doesn't jive, the values don't connect, be 100% okay to say, no, that doesn't sound fun. That sounds like work. That sounds like a pain in the ass. Unless you guys change, this is probably not a good fit. And they're like, well, and then people will make adjustments to make it fun. It's way better. So that's kind of what I'm going to leave it with. Just, we said, be authentic, be confident, be trustworthy, be valuable, be fun. Have a three-way with Mike Bunker. That's it for this show. We're gonna stop the recording, then we're gonna keep talking off the air. Thanks so much, gentlemen and lady that joined Karen, and that's it.